friends and compliments of the season. This is Pastor Michael Oladejo, bring you the word of encouragement from RCCG Faith Chapel Orleans, Ontario 3. And this one simply says, the fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord. I'm taking my text from Proverbs chapter 9, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is understanding. So the fear of the Lord that is referred to here, we are talking about the reverential fear of God. The one that grips your heart, that you are willing to listen to his wisdom. You are willing to submit to his commands. You are willing, to surrender your will to his own, and you are willing to rest in the awesome promises of his grace, even in the face of challenges of life. This is the fear that, makes you run towards him instead of running away from him. It causes you to live away and to live the way you would not live apart from him. Okay? It's the fear of the Lord that caused David to walk into the valley of Elah, and he saw how Goliath was terrorizing the army of Israel. He had to take up the challenge. I'm talking about the kind of fear that made Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to stand unafraid and unashamed before King Nebuchadnezzar to say, "Sorry, King, we will not bow down to this graven image." This is the fear of the Lord that propelled all the saints of old to live as soldiers of light in a dark and a crooked world. The truth of the matter is that not all people that profess to be Christians in the 21st century are actually living in the reverential fear of the Lord. So, how do I know? What is the acid test? How do I know whether or not I'm living in the fear of God? I'm going to give you 3 points on this. Number one, how easy is it for you to disobey God's instructions as contained in his word? See, there are people who believe that because we're in the era of grace now, they have liberty to do whatever they like and they can disobey God's commands. That's very, very far from the truth, because when you read Romans chapter 6 verses 1 to 2, Romans chapter 6 verses 1 to 2, say, "What shall we then say? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? Say, God forbid. How shall we that are dead to sin?" See, children of God are supposed to be dead to sin, live any longer therein. You see, the power of grace is that grace actually empowers you to live a life above sin. It is true that Christ delivered us from bondage of the devil and we have been set free, but remember that we are also yoked. He commanded us to be yoked together with him. It means we are supposed to live Christ-like. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 13 says, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man." Point number 2. Another question you should ask yourself, do I hate evil and everything that looks like it? See, those who fear God develop a strong hatred for sin and evil. They distance themselves from wickedness, knowing that such things are contrary to God's holy nature. Proverbs chapter 8 verse 13, "The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and arrogancy, and the evil way, and the froward mouth do I hate." Check your life. If you are still finding it difficult to humble yourself under authority, you are not living in the fear of God. If you are still comfortable telling lies, it talks about the forward mouth. You are very easy to tell lies. You are still, you are not living in the fear of God. And then point number 3, the last point, do you trust in the Lord's protection? Do you trust in the Lord and his protection? See, those who fear God, they trust absolutely in Him. They live a life that is totally dependent upon Him. In Psalm 34 verse 9, it says, if you belong, the TLB version says, if you belong to the Lord, reverence Him. For everyone who does this has everything they need. And then you go to verse 10 and read in the King James, it says, the young lions do lack and suffer hunger. Those who put their trust in God will never lack any good thing. I release you powerfully to this week. The Lord bless and keep you, cause His face to shine upon you. Go and prosper in Jesus' name. Bye.